Welcome to Cathy's Crafty Snippets. Today I'm going to do a two-part video. The first part will be creating the background that I'm then going to use to make a card. The second part I'll do the stamping and the embellishing. Okay, let's get started on the background. So we take a piece of regular daisy white cardstock. This one is 5 1/4 by 4. I find that's the perfect size to then place on our CTMH card bases to give ourselves a little bit of an edge. Now I'm going to start. Love our new distressed oxides. I'm going to start with these two colours, which is Mowed Lawn and Mustard Sea. I'm going to give them a bit of a swipe across my all-purpose mat. And you think, oh no. Then I'm going to give a little bit of a spray with water. Now, spraying it with water means that I can pick it up a little better with my card. Now I'm just going to give it a little bit of a swash. And as you can see, we've got a pretty uneven background, but that's exactly what I want. And you can probably see that I've got some bubbles, and if I'm doing an underwater theme, that's will be perfect. Now excuse me, I'm going to dry it off. I do give it a bit of a dry between layers just to help with the setting of the colours. Oh, I think I need a bit more green down on the yellow. Pretty happy with that so far. Don't worry that it's not an even coverage and we've still got some white because we've still got a few more layers. Now between each colour layer I'm actually going to dry it off, which I'll do off screen because it gets way too noisy, but I will do a little bit, so excuse the noise. You might have to turn it down. Now I've pretty well dried that. Now I will actually just wipe my table down. Normally if I wasn't doing a video I'd actually use the colour that remains on my table for another card. So now I'm going to add some blues, so I might start with a little bit of peacock feathers. Just a nice light layer across your mat, not too heavy, because it's amazing what this little bit of water does to it. And I'm just going to give it a bit of a squish. Oh, I like that. Just keep squishing it on. Sometimes, oh, how's that one going? I might wipe that off before I put something in it that I don't need to. Okay, I've given it a bit more of a dry. Now, every base that you do, you will get a different result. I did have one here that I showed you earlier that's using same colours, different result. I will actually, I think I might put a little bit of Mermaid Lagoon on this, just to give it a little bit more blue. And with your oxides, as long as you dry between each layer, the colours will tend to sit on top of the layer from before, not mix in with that layer. So let's see what happens now. Woo! Wow! See that? Like that one. See if we can get a few more bubbles happening. Get rid of a few of those white areas. Manipulate your paper a bit to get rid of a few of those white areas. Oh, there's a bit in there. Oop. Okay, there we go. Now, something else I'm going to do, because because it's pretty dry now, to add a little bit of depth, is to just put a little bit of water. I'll get my little water beastie to go and just give it a little bit of a lift up. Not sure whether you can quite see that effect on the screen. The other thing is, when you're using, when you're drying, your piece of card might fold up. Just give it a flip over and dry it, and I'll tend to go back the other way. Sorry, another quick little dry, because I did put a bit of water on them. As your colours dry, they also change colour a little. They lighten up, and that's the oxidisation effect that's happening with this particular ink. Now, something else you can do if you don't want to, if you're not going to do the big spray, and to get some bubble type effects, we just pop some on with our finger and let it dry a little bit before we take it off. And I'll lift off some of the colour. I'm not sure whether that is showing up for you. There we go. Big little dobs. One more dry, sorry about the noise once again. See how it's given a bit of a curl? Flip it over the other way, and it'll flatten down. Okay. Now, because I'm never quite happy with how things go, look at those two. They're very different. But never fear, I will make something spectacular out of them. See you in part 2.